Hi there, it's early morning in Tenerife. I just arrived and I'm about to ride this bike, the KTM 390 Adventure. I'm really excited about it, and I know that you are excited about it because you asked me so many questions about this bike. We made that video at the IGMA and you were curious to find out more about it, and it's gonna happen today. It's gonna happen right now. I'm gonna hop onto this bike and I'm gonna ride it for about 170 kilometers today, and I'm gonna get back with my first impression on the KTM 390 Adventure. We're gonna have a lot of fun today. I just had the first kilometers on the KTM 390 Adventure, and it's quite impressive, you know, because you're having this single cylinder and it's developing 45 horsepower, which means it's quite good. It can go up very fast until 100 kilometers per hour, but after that you gotta be careful when overtaking. These bikes come fitted with the quick shifter as an option, which is so cool for an entry-level bike. I mean, it shifts so good, it's very easy to do it. Wow, it's impressive. Whoa! I fucking hate these tires, man. They're useless. I got the traction control up, the ABS is switched on the rear wheel, so I'm ready to hit the dirt with this bike, and it feels quite good actually considering this is an entry-level bike. I mean, it's not a 790, but it feels good. It's not a 790 because you don't have the same suspension. It's a pretty good balance between on-road use and off-road use, but still it's getting a bit bumpy if you grab the acceleration and try to push it a bit harder.
From now on, the view is really nice because it's this volcanic terrain with huge stones on both sides of the road, and we are inside the national park. Obviously you noticed the signs before.
The suspension was developed for this bike specially, or?
I think Michael is more expert on.
It was specially developed for the 390 Adventure. The technology is what we have on the 390 Duke already, which is really new here, is the adjustability. There is the standard settings and all the other settings, which are like maximum load, are mentioned underneath the seat on the tank. That's the sticker. So we have comfort, standard setting, then sport, and maximum payload. The engine is the same like which we have on the 390 Duke at the moment.
But the mapping?
No, it's different. Because,
it's different, yeah.
Because it is already Euro 5 compliant.
Okay.
So the current Duke is Euro 4.
Okay. Okay.
So this is it will come with model year 21, the upgrade of the Euro 5. Then it will also have the underneath the engine, the exhaust, which you can probably see on the left hand side better.
No, go show it to me.
So you have the exhaust here, first catalytic converter here. Then it continues on the bottom of the engine, and then into the pre-muffler we have the second catalytic converter.
And the gearing, you said, is the same?
The gearing is the same.
Everybody's asking about the wheels because it's the adventure bike and it's supposed to have spoked wheels and not cast wheels. But
Yes.
Last evening you told us that these are quite tough and quite resistant.
That's correct, Christian, and I'm really looking forward to watching the review that you will produce after this experience, because we really believe that the current setup is capable of covering 100% of the goal of this motorcycle. And our R&D team spent a lot of miles and hours trying to figure out the best possible wheel setup. And it all started from how we want to position this product, this motorcycle. We believe that the KTM 390 Adventure is a motorcycle to welcome new riders and riders from all over the world into the KTM Adventure world. So it's built for commuting. It's built for someone to use it on a daily basis. You can also use it on a weekend trip outside of the city, some exploration outside of the city, and obviously some light off-roading, as we call it. I mean, Christian, today you experience yourself what we define by light off-roading, and for this whole riding possibilities, we really believe that the existing setup with the cast wheels is the ideal setup in order for the bike to be performing in all conditions. For those who want to upgrade, for those who are interested in doing more miles off-roads and maybe explore the potential of this motorcycle more in the extreme off-road segment, we will offer as a KTM Power Part a set of spoked wheels, but also tubed wheels, compared to the tubeless wheels existing in the standard version. At the moment, I cannot confirm the exact pricing, but we can discuss that after a few weeks and I can get back to that. The official policy is that the customer is buying the 390 Adventure with the existing setup. At the same time, it doesn't mean that they can't get the spoke wheels, so maybe they pre-order or they order the spoke wheels and they arrange with the dealer to install them during the bike delivery. This is also a possibility.
You put a quick shifter.
Exactly.
You have traction control, what else? Leaning angle?
Lean dependent ABS and traction control. And as for the quick shifter, we should remind the viewers that it's optional.
It's optional.
All our bikes during our press launch are fitted with a quick shifter for you guys to get a good idea of how it works, but it's going to be available as an optional part.
Okay, so just to make sure, there's the ABS off-road mode,
Yes.
which shuts down the ABS on the rear wheel.
Exactly.
And does it also affect the front wheel? It comes with other parameters?
So, speaking about the ABS, Christian, we should start by mentioning that it's the latest version and the latest technology of ABS applications. So when you when you activate the off-road ABS via the handle switches, you disengage the ABS from the rear wheel and you have new parameters from the front wheel.
Okay.
And I think, Christian, you can confirm how it feels actually when riding off-road, because in my opinion, you don't even feel that there's ABS in the front wheel. We had some people from R&D, and during testing, they mentioned that they were even able to make stoppies with the off-road ABS engaged. So I think this says a lot. This is a standard seat at 855 millimeters Well, for us the seat height was a really important topic, and it was a priority from the very start of the development process to find a setup that could combine travel suspension and ground clearance, because as an adventure motorcycle it needed to have a specific number of ground clearance to comply to the standards we set.
Yep.
So the current setup with 855 millimeters we believe is the ideal balance for riders, for shorter or taller riders. And as we also mentioned yesterday during the press conference, there is going to be available a lowering kit, a suspension lowering kit, which will bring the seat even lower by 25 millimeters. And if you allow me to mention also that at least from my riding experience, it's not just 855, just the mention of a number which might scare some riders, some potential riders. It's a combination of lightweight feeling, slim design in the fuel tank, even slimmer than the big generation, big family of KTM Adventures, and an overall feeling of a motorcycle that is accessible and super easy and fun to ride. Well, obviously the pricing has to do a lot with the policies of each market. We have some, for example, in Germany, which is one of the largest motorcycle markets in Europe, the price will be a little bit less than 6.2k euros. So I think it's 6,190, let's say 6.2, just for an estimation. From the competitors who might be cheaper than us, we are by far winning in the performance segment, in the technology segment, and definitely in the suspension segment and the adjustability. So for us it's a winner, really, Christian. The numbers speak by themselves. Power, the best power to weight ratio, by far the best technology with off-road ABS, with traction control, and by far a better setup, suspension setup with full adjustability. First medium service is at 7.5 for the first medium service, which includes oil change and filter change, and the first big service interval is at 15,000 K, which includes also internal engine work. That the total number of power parts available for this motorcycle is 160, but behind this number there is a percentage of parts which are coming from other models of the range, for example grips, levers and stuff like that, and there is another percentage of parts which have been specifically designed for the positioning of this motorcycle. And when I speak about positioning, I mention obviously the travel capabilities. So this has to do with engine guard, for example, super important for going proper off-road. It has to do with luggage space. It also has to do with better protection. And a really important point here, Christian, which I think it will give the extra bit for your audience, is that we can fit the screen from the 790 Adventure to the 390 without any modifications.
Yeah, the big one.
The big one, exactly.
The tall one.
The tall one. It's the same headlight, yes, as the big range, with the LED lights.
And the same dash?
The same dash, exactly. It's a newer version of the dash. I mean, if you noticed, some fonts inside have changed compared to the first version of the 790 dashboard. Yes.
And you have the connectivity, you have
exactly
pretty much everything.
Yeah, connectivity, calls, you can receive calls or cancel calls, you can connect with your Bluetooth headset and have music while riding. There is plenty of possibilities.
Well, that's cool. Okay, I think that's all.
Thank you very much, Christian.
Thank you very much.
Good.
Just had a stop at the fuel station and we got 4.2 liters for 100 kilometers fuel consumption. Well, this is quite good considering the fact we're riding somewhere above average, and the fuel consumption declared by KTM is 3.6 liters for 100 kilometers. So I'm sure that you could get somewhere between 3.6 and 4.2 liters, which is quite good, and which means that you can get about 400 kilometers with a full fuel tank. That's it, guys. It was a long but very beautiful day riding this KTM 390 adventure. And as a conclusion to what happened today, first of all, this is a great all-rounder, bike. You can do everything with it. It's a great commuter. You can use it for rides in the city, you can use it for touring, you can use it basically for everything. If you're thinking about this bike as an alternative to an enduro bike, you might be wrong, because this is not a smaller 690 enduro. This is not a smaller 790 adventure. This is an adventure bike, but still it's, let's put it this way, this is mainly intended for street use, but it could also go in off-road. You can have a lot of fun with it, you can do a lot of cool stuff with this bike, but if you are a pro rider, or if you want to have the latest suspension or the latest tension response, this bike might not be the one for you. However, I had a lot of fun today. Regarding the suspension, I discussed earlier about them. I think they're very good for this kind of bike. They're very good for the speed it gets to, for the purpose it has. Of course, the guys at KTM could have come with another fancy wide power suspension, but the price would have gone, well, I don't know, 8,000, 9,000 euros, who knows. So the thing is that it has to cost 6,000 euros, and the suspension you're getting for this money is quite good. I think the package you're getting for this money is very, very good, and I think that KTM just set the bar in terms of small adventure bikes. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube videos, and if you like what we're doing, you can also support us. There are some links over there in the description to the Patreon page, to the PayPal. So yeah, I think that's it. I gotta go home right now, and if you're interested in this bike, just write us, and maybe we're gonna have some more reviews with this KTM 390 adventure. See you!